Greetings, everyone. P. Pardo here from Comic Book Geezers. Welcome to another episode of Inside the Cover. We're going to go to part 4 of the Korvac Saga, of course, from the Avengers, issue number 171 from 1978. Shards of Crystal Doom. Of course, you know, the Korvac Saga also involved in this long 10-part storyline. Ultron was part of this as well, right? So you had this kind of like deviation. While the Korvac thing was going on in the background, you had Ultron still trying to deal with Ultron in the foreground as well. So this is pretty cool stuff. So, of course, we've got Perez and Austin doing the artwork on the cover. George Perez, so good. And on the inside, we have George Perez on the pencils, Pablo Marcus on the inks, one of the great artist teams of all time, I believe. Jim Shooter, writer-editor, Denise Wall, letter, and Phil Rachelson, colorist. Where angels fear to tread. So, of course, if we remember from the last issue, we had Ultron's bride on the loose. And, of course, the Avengers are going after her. Got to go get Jocasta, right? Is that what the name is? I always forget her name. So here we've got Iron Man, Cap, the Beast, Vision, Scarlet Witch, Wonder Man, all hot in pursuit. She went that way, hurry, says Iron Man. And of course, they devised a plot where they tried to protect her because the Avengers wanted to crush her, but Cap and Iron Man were like, no, we can't do that. She's going to lead us right to Ultron. So one guy in the crowd says, what is this? First a lady robot shoves past, now the Avengers. It's like, hey, pal, pardon me, sir. Huh, Captain America? Or might you be a very patriotic pickpocket, right? So they're kind of explaining. This is hilarious. So we've got a cop comes up to Iron Man and goes, mind explaining this ruckus Avenger? We're after an escaped robot officer. She headed in this direction from Avengers Mansion. So while all the people are milling about and they're talking to the cops, all these women come up to Beast and they're like, ooh, we love you. I want a lock of his fur. Doesn't anyone have the scissors? It's for Park Avenue Towers. Please take it. Ladies. And he's like looking at all this attention he's getting. And then Thor flies by. Thor comes into action, flies by and grabs the Beast and pulls him out of the crowd. He says, thy wenching is ill-timed, Hank McCoy. And Hank says, alas, the price of fame and sex appeal, which is hilarious. So here, and then we got Wonder Man is getting pissed off. He goes, this is crazy. While we're tied up in this mob, that robot may slip away for good. We should have grabbed her at the mansion when we had the chance. Maybe Iron Man is taking a gamble. It's his right, says Cap. So they do have a plan. So now they're off to the races. All right, great artwork, as you can see. And as we continue on, got this interesting subplot with a nun and another woman, right? Then, of course, they're tracking the robot. Ms. Marvel actually comes to help out here. Park Rider by Nash, for all of you skateboard fans. Like, do you remember when skateboards, like in the late 70s, were really, really popular all of a sudden? I remember I said to my parents, like, God, I want to have a skateboard. So they got me a skateboard, and I rode it up and down the driveway a few times, and after a couple months, I was kind of like, yeah, it's not so great. But I know some kids who were still into skateboards, right? Who were into it back then. They've grown up now. They're still into it. So, yeah. So anyway, so here we've got Yellow Jacket and the Wasp join the fray. So now we have this big cast of characters, right? So we got Thor and Wonder Man and Iron Man, Cap, the Beast, Ms. Marvel, Vision, Scarlet Witch, Yellow Jackets, Wasp, whole big crew out. And they finally think they have tracked Jocasta to this mansion. All right. She's inside that building, this mansion, a convent. So remember I mentioned the nun before, right? So it's actually a convent is this mansion or building that they're going. And they're like, why would she be in there? So they go and they take a look around the place. Wasp goes up, knocks on the door. A nun answers, Sister Eucalypta. I'm the Wasp. So, of course, they try to explain why they're there. And then, of course, all sorts of trickery winds up happening. And they're sensing it might be a trap. Okay. Which, rightfully so. So then, of course, as they move into this one room, there is Ultron just kind of sitting there. So basically, so Ms. Marvel says to herself, Ultron, he's even more awesome, more terrifying than I imagined. Careful, Hank, be ready for anything. And then Wonder Man says, I'm the least vulnerable of us, and I'm back, while Yellow Jacket is up front defying Ultron. If I weren't a coward, because remember, he's thinking this to himself. Wonder Man was going through all this self-doubt at the time, thinking he's not cut out for this, and why is he always afraid? He's like always afraid. He goes into battle, he's always scared shitless, right? So Cap, let me through. I should be the one to go first. And Cap says, at ease, Wonder Man. What's your game, robot? Says Yellow Jacket. Of course, Yellow Jacket, Hank Pym, is basically the father, the creator of Ultron. What have you done to Wanda and the Nun? And then he goes, Ultron says, you should be more concerned with your own safety, father, calls him father. As for my game, as you so quaintly put it, you created me, I am your son. Do you not yet know the mind of your sole offspring? My desires are the same as ever. I want your death. I want your wife. And then I want the world. Your death will be but a moment's work. The world will be mine in time. And your wife? Weeks ago, Iron Man stopped me from completely draining the wasp's life force into my metalloid bride body, and thereby converting my flesh and blood mother into a suitable mate. Of course, that was back in issue number 162. So what does he do? He's, talking about how pissed he is at Yellow Jacket for stopping that whole thing. So what does he do? He goes, throws a blast at him, but it does nothing. He goes, die, father. He goes, what? How can it be? You're still standing there. He goes, did you take us for idiots, Ultron? Did you think we'd come unprepared? You're fond of pointing out that I created you. Well, I also devised treatments to biochemically immunize us to your deadliest weapons. Right, so always thinking ahead. Right, Ms. Marvel says to Iron Man, I'm certain Wanda isn't dead, and she is the key to victory. I'm going to find her. He goes, fine, especially since you're not immune to Ultron's beams. So, and as for us, Avengers attack. So here we go on the attack. And he throws a blast at all the oncoming Avengers. And, of course, out of nowhere, Wonder Man comes up and whacks him from behind. Of course, let's take a snack break, right? Zag nuts, Clark coconut, all sorts of delicious stuff right there. And the reader's page. So now Wanda is in another room. Okay, she's in a room with all sorts of mirrors, a chamber of mirrors. All right, she falls down into this trap door. All right, she finds herself in this other place. Meanwhile, the battle continues. Ultron and Wonder Man going at it. The Beast jumps into the fray. Kaboom, right? Dak boom, sorry. And they're doing their best to all attack him at once, because that's the way to get to Ultron, right? So here Ms. Marvel is flying through the convent, comes across Sister Eucalyptus, who, of course, turns out to be a robot. Because she's shooting at her, she turns out to be a robot. So then she finds Jocasta. Actually, Ultron goes and says, it is time for you, my love. He's like, it is time, my love, awaken, arise, my Jocasta. My husband, yes, Jocasta, open your eyes, behold me for the very first time. I am Ultron. I love you, Ultron. I exist only to love you, to serve you, for so I was created, and thus I must destroy you. And he's like, what? So, of course, she turns on him, blasts him. And then he is like, it is wrong, my love. Though I desire with all my being to be one with you, I would first slay us both. I love you, and yet I know what you are. I must end your evil despite my desires. He goes, this cannot be. I did not program this foolishness into you. Wait, the residual imprint of the Wasp persona. It has infected you with her wretched human fear and hate. Fear and hate propagated by my cursed father. Damn him. That's just the beginning of your troubles, monster. And then, of course, in walks the Scarlet Witch and Ms. Marvel. The Scarlet Witch is free and angry, and unlike your bride, Ultron, the Scarlet Witch can hurt you. So she sends a hex blast at him, and all of a sudden, kaboom, ba-boom, ba-boom, and there you know it. Then Thor, with Mjolnir, concentrates his blast as well, up from the heavens, and Ultron is what appears to be no more. Okay. And then to kind of finish it off, through all this, right, Jocasta disappears. Beast goes, hey, the Tin Lady, she vanished, just popped right out of sight, and I was looking right at her. Honest, guys, he goes, impossible. Wait, where's Cap? He blinked out too. Something weird is going on. And Wanda says, again, still, you were wrong, Thor. It never ends, and each trial is harder than the last. So again, all of a sudden people are disappearing, and they're like, what's going on? So obviously there's something more at work here. So to be continued next issue. So next issue, Hawkeye returns. The Avengers face deadlier perils than before, and there's a Holocaust in the Hudson. Right. So again, this issue, no real dealing with the Korvac part of it. This is kind of to finish up the Ultron part of the storyline, but we will continue in next issue to see where this goes. So thanks for watching, everybody. Issue number 171. Continuing on with the Korvac saga. Stay tuned, and I don't know, probably another couple days or next week, whatever, I'll get you issue number 172. But till then, we've got more stuff with Wild Bill and myself, so stay tuned for that. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. For those of you who are fans of the Korvac saga, let us know what you think of issue number 171. And if you've never read it, well, hopefully you've gotten enough of a preview of all this stuff to go ahead and go try and pick up these issues and enjoy this excellent long saga in the history of the Avengers. So until next time, I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you soon here on Comic Book Users. Take care. Bye-bye.